All right.
So how long will it be for?
However long you want. Just hang up on us when you're done talking.
Welcome to AT Banter, the podcast where we discuss anything and everything regarding the world of assistive technology. With our hosts, Steve Barkley, Rob Minot, and Ryan Fleury. Now, let's banter.
And hey, everybody, and welcome to yet another episode of your favorite and ours, AT Banter. Woo, woo. I am Rob Minot, and joining me today is Ryan Fleury.
Howdy.
And look who's here with us again, Steve Barkley.
Banter.
And you missed a hell of an episode.
I did, and I've listened to part of it. I haven't listened to the whole thing yet, but I now know what candies not to get you guys.
That's right. I went yesterday to Safeway and bought
Now they're mowing.
Rob's going to pound on the window soon. You old curmudgeon.
Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn.
I went to Safeway yesterday, and all their candy was 50% off, and I bought a huge bag of caramels.
Nice.
Yeah, talking about diabetes.
Listen,
Candy doesn't give you diabetes.
That's right.
It's an autoimmune disorder.
All right.
Yeah, it was Ryan.
There you go.
Stop.
Well, type 1 is.
So that was fun. That was good. So we are kind of back to normal this week. We have a special guest with us. You notice we say that for every guest. We always say
they're all special.
They're all special.
Yeah.
It's true.
One day we'll just have a regular guest.
I don't know. Is there such a thing?
I don't know.
Yeah, well, we'll pull in somebody, and somebody who
Rick.
Hey, Rick.
Rick is our guest.
Yeah.
Nothing special about Rick.
We have a normal guest. I don't know that would be fair.
No.
Probably.
Guess he's pretty special.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, we'll be. So today we're back to normal. No, we're not back to normal. Today.
The regular crowd has shown up again.
We're back to our regular format.
Thank you. That's exactly what I wanted to say, but my brain wasn't allowing me to. Yeah, we're having...
Your brain isn't allowing you to do much, is it?
It
Not
really
today.
isn't
He's
today.
in a
I'm
fog
in
today.
a fog. I don't know why.
It's all the caramel chocolate.
That's probably it.
I fell asleep on the couch watching American Horror Story, and I didn't wake up until 4 a.m.
And then he was covered in cat hair, sticking to all the caramel on him.
And I just, maybe that's what it is. I overate a bunch of sugar and then fell asleep watching a horror movie. We have, it's someone else do this.
Take it away, Steve.
Tell us tell us what we're doing today, Steve.
I'm gonna wait for the lawnmower to go away.
I don't even. He's not even mowing the lawn. It looks like he's just running over leaves.
Yeah, he's probably picking up the leaves.
He's not doing a very good job.
Go out and show them how it's done. You're not used to us on the podcast.
There it was.
Get him, Daisy.
Daisy.
She's attacking somebody.
All right. Well, why don't you pause the recording, Rob?
Why this stuff's gold. This is the best stuff.
All right. So now that the train went off the rails, where were we?
Hold on.
We were about to talk about
Our guest.
What we're doing today.
Right.
Yeah. Well, shall I tell you what we're doing today?
Please tell us what we're doing today.
Now that we're back to our regular format. Today, we have a very special guest, artist, illustrator, and children's book author Karon Argue is joining us from High River, Alberta.
High River.
Via Skype.
Well, we got 6 days till Trump's president.
Oh, don't even say that.
No. There's that brief period where Obama's still president before they swear him.
That's true.
That's
true.
true. Like, he's seriously ahead in the polls.
Although the Obamas are already packing the White House. They're getting ready to move. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. They might be living in a hotel for a little while.
I don't think that's the way it works.
I don't know. Where do they go in that interim period? Where do they go?
They stay in the White House until the new president's sworn in.
Do they?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's
I don't
yeah.
know.
It's not
Okay.
like the day after where they're just like, okay,
Well, they said on the news last night they're packing, so
well, they're probably
getting
have a lot
ready
of
to go.
stuff.
Yeah, it's not like Canadian politics. We'll just get out now.
although Trump might say, get out now.
Okay,
You never know.
okay. Could you elaborate on these polls that you were talking about earlier? Did you say that he was really as ahead at this point?
There's one poll, I believe it's by ABC, that has him ahead by 1 point.
That sounds.
But that's
dicey.
within the margin of error of the poll, too, anyway. So
They're neck and neck.
they're pretty close.
Yeah.
That's insanity.
They're remarkably close.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the most terrifying thing about it. Like that. There's just
Nobody's going to know until the voting day, right? You know.
Well, Hillary lost like 8 or 9 points in some of the polls because of the FBI guy coming out and saying, "Oh, we found more email."
Yeah, like good timing.
Yeah,
she just must be like, oh, I hate email now.
yeah, no kidding, no kidding.
I'm just going to text from now on.
But there's more to it than that as well, because the FBI is not supposed to comment around election time on candidates. Like, even if they're investigating stuff, they're supposed to basically shut up and wait and let the election happen. So it's really unusual that this guy came out and said anything in the first place.
So can this election then, do you think, be overturned? The results be overturned because of stuff that's come out like this?
No, I don't think it can. I think they just have to live with it.
Well,
But it kind of looks like this guy is, trying to sabotage the process. And the fact that he's a registered Republican doesn't bode too well for it.
Right.
It just makes the optics bad for it, regardless of what his motivation was. And then there's also talk that the FBI is also currently investigating Trump for his ties to Russia, and he didn't comment on that. So,
That's good. Oh man, it's going to be an interesting week next week.
yeah, this is freaky. The thing that I just keep shaking my head over is he's never released his taxes, which has been like that would have disqualified anybody from being president ever before.
Right.
Like, nobody could have gotten away with that. But he's being allowed to get away with it. He's clearly got ties to Russia, which he's lying about, but Hillary emails.
Yeah, right.
And she is under such scrutiny and so much innuendo, whereas he has proven criminal allegations against him right now. Like, he has to go to court for child rape charges in December.
I know.
He's being sued for Trump University. He's got, I think it was 75 current lawsuits against him.
wow.
Yeah, I don't know what it would take at this point.
But
I think
but Hillary emails, so people are freaking out on her.
Footage of him just kicking puppies would just be like,
No, but he'd say he never did that.
that wasn't me.
That's right. Yeah,
Wasn't
yeah,
me.
yeah. That didn't happen.
That's right.
Puppies were asking for it.
Or it was taken out of context.
Yeah, that's right. Billy Bush made me do it. What the hell are we going to talk about next week once it's all over? I guess we can.
We'll probably have a recap. It's like, okay, Steve was wrong. Trump was elected.
Oh, can you imagine? Oh, no.
I don't know. Next week's podcast may be Doomsday Prep.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah,
That'd be fun,
Give our your favorite Doomsday Prep tips.
There we go.
Stock up on bottled water, people.
Perfect.
Batteries.
Yeah.
Head for the shelters.
I like it.
All right. Well, we are very, very excited to have with us today Karon Argue, who lives in High River, Alberta, and is a author and an illustrator. Thanks for coming on, right?
Thank you for having me.
Did we pronounce your last name correctly?
Yes, it is just like you do. So Argue's great.
Okay, phew, good. Because I was just like this. I wonder if it's like literal or if there's some French.
Yeah.
It's Argue.
Argue.
That's just with telemarketers, guys.
I think I saw that AMI had done something on you, Karon, and I saw it on Twitter, and we thought, well, let's see if she'll come and talk about herself on our show. So.
Hey, no, that sounds great. Well, they were very, very gracious when they came. They interviewed the family and myself, and it was really fun.
All right, well, let's take a step back and just maybe just tell us a little bit about yourself.
I just had a birthday, so I'm a little bit older. It doesn't mean I'm wiser. I'm an illustrator and a graphic designer. That's what I did. I went to school in Medicine Hat for visual communications. Kind of ironic, but I have been doing that for years and years. I had my own sign shop. And in 2010, I had a retinal hemorrhage that took the vision in my left eye, which was my eye that was better. I've had lots of surgeries and stuff over the years for my vision, all due to type 1 diabetes. And last year, I was very, very fortunate. I received a new kidney, so that's all good. Life is really good again. Feeling great to just kind of be back at the drawing board. And I'm on the list for the pancreas transplant. So life has taken me in a direction that I never thought that I'd be in, but it's all been really, really good. So that's just a little bit about me.
Well, in looking at your bio, what drives you? Because I would have given up.
Well,
You've had a lot of health setbacks.
Yeah, I have. But you know what? At the same time, I've got a terrific support system behind me. My husband and I have 3 grown children. And the other option is to sit back and feel sorry for yourself. And that just wasn't the way I wanted to go, I guess.
Right.
I'm curious. My son's a type 1 diabetic.
Okay.
The pancreas transplant, is that likely to cure your diabetes, or would it just be a case where your immune system would attack it again?
Well, the reason that I've been put on the list is because of my type 1 diabetes, but I have severe neuropathy. I was in a wheelchair for 3 years, couldn't walk, weighed probably about 78 pounds. And because of all of the past history with poor health, there's been a lot of things like the vision has happened and the neuropathy in my hands and feet. And they said with the pancreas, what it'll do is it'll stop the progression of the disease, which to me just sounds fantastic. I was at my ophthalmologist the other day, and he said that he's seen type 1 diabetics that have had pancreas transplants regain some of their vision. It's all very hopeful. I have hope for that. But at the same time, the reality is I'm coping where I'm at. But if life can just be a little bit better, so I won't have to take insulin, so the new pancreas will just take over. And if the new pancreas takes over and does what it's supposed to, then your body goes back to normal.
Wow.
Well, I mean, I say that very loosely because normal for me is just not always that cut and dried. But yeah, so it don't want to say that it's going to cure it, but at the same time, if it stops the progression and there's no more side effects, then I'm all for it. So.
Yeah, indeed. Why wouldn't you be?
Yeah, exactly.
How long is the waiting list?
Well, because I had the kidney transplant done in June of this past year, they kept me on the list for a pancreas because they knew that was something that I would eventually like to do. A lot of people do the procedures together, but I opted just to go with one transplant first. And so it could be a matter of getting a call in 3 weeks, could be a matter of getting a call in 3 months or a year. So it's It's just until we find a match, right?
I see.
Yep, gotta have the donor.
Yeah, exactly. With my kidney, it was a good friend of mine phoned me in October of 2014 and said, I'm going to the city for you today. And of course, I tell everybody this. I was being kind of a smarty pants. And I said, well, I hope you're going to buy me something nice. And she said, actually, I'm going to get tested. And from that very first conversation, she said, I have no idea why, but I just really feel like I'm being directed this way, and we're going to be a perfect match. And in June of 2015, at the very beginning of the month, I got a phone call, and they said, we couldn't have got a better match for you.
Wow.
So
That's
that
crazy.
was
What are
pretty
the odds?
amazing experience in itself.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have much better friends than I do. I can't even get my buddy to come over and help me mount my TV properly. Let alone give me a kidney.
Well, amen for friends. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I'm talking to you, Jeff.
Sometimes what you give out, you get back, right?
Well, there's that.
Yeah, just wait until Jeff needs a kidney.
Yeah, that's right. Let's see who's laughing now. I have a permanent kink in my neck from watching
TV on an angle.
But I know.
The sad part is it's been like that for a couple of years, and he still hasn't changed it.
I can't. I don't know how. Anyways, it's a whole different podcast.
Oh, man. Yeah. Well, the lucky thing for me is that I didn't ask. We weren't even at that stage. My husband and I and my kids, we all hadn't even really talked about it because I was doing fine on dialysis. So to have somebody, like, we were very good friends. We were business associates. I did lots of stuff for her at the shop, and it just kind of out of the blue. So to me, it was a blessing that, like, I never even knew was going to be there. So I'm very, very thankful for my friends.
Nice.
No doubt.
Yes.
So is that part of the sale deal for the sign shop?
Well, yes, it was. Back in 2010, my daughter and one of the girls that worked for me, they took over for the summer, and in September I had to sell it because there was just no way that I could do all the things that I used to do. So, but yeah, so I haven't had a sign shop for a long time, but it is still around. Gecko Graphics in High River, they're awesome. So that was a plug, right? That's okay.
Yep, absolutely.
That was a shameless plug, and it was well delivered.
Did they have a website?
Actually, it is highwoodprinting.com.
Highwoodprinting.com?
Highwoodprinting.com, yeah. Yeah. Gecko Graphics is kind of under that umbrella. So
if
no,
you need
Catherine is very good there.
If you need graphics for your gecko, there's your place.
Hey. You know what? When I went to college, like way back when, like maybe 20 some years ago, that was the name that I always wanted. So when I finally, what happened is I moved to High River with my first on my own. And because I ended up in a wheelchair, I had crawled around my house in Medicine Hat for about 3 weeks because I couldn't stand on my legs. And at that time, my oldest was in grade 4, and he would pack me around the house. So we moved to High River. I started to get a little bit better with the proper care. And my family, we just decided that we needed to be together permanent again. And they moved to High River. We had a Rutgers Fun Center in Medicine Hat, and we're part owners in some Fabutans. And my husband worked for the radio station. And we all just decided High River was the place to be. And I've been very lucky because when I was in my wheelchair, I was learning to use my computer again with sticks because my hands were in braces because they would cripple over so much.
Ooh,
wow.
And it just started out of the house, me doing a little bit of graphic design for people, and then I bought a little sign shop from Vulcan, and kind of it was fun to actually go to school for art and then actually get to make some money doing what you love to do. So it was fun. But yeah, needless to say, in 2010, I did have to sell it because I just couldn't function as well as I was before. So
it sounds like you still have problems with your hands?
I do. I'm on a drug called gabapentin, which kind of is, it's for epileptics, and it kind of blocks the pain triggers to the brain. And it's worked fantastic for me for the past 15 years. I was told by my Dr. Sakodny, who was a neurologist, that he'd never seen a case like mine, and couldn't believe. He said to me when he first met me that he didn't think that I'd ever walk again. And we started doing training in the pool, and I would get into the pool for maybe 2 minutes and I'd be completely done and my blood sugars would go right down. But just the resistance of the water on my feet and stuff really helped, and I ended up walking again. But now I still do struggle. Like every once in a while, the pain in my legs is just too much, where you just don't do very much activity. And same thing with my hands. If my hands are sore, I stop. So no, it's been a process, but it's good because just with the right medications and care and stuff, it's helping.
So now you're writing children's books and you're illustrating children's books. How long does it take you to do a typical, an illustration on a page? It must, between your visual impairment and the problems with your hands, it must be quite a process.
Well, it is. I've started going around and reading the book at the schools for the elementary students, and I bring my equipment with me. And this last group that I was at, I took all of my drawings. So there was probably about 24 drawings that went into one finished page. And the kids were quite intrigued with that, because not only is it just drawing it, it's trying to get the proportions right when you put the whole picture together. And so I told them with my last book, there was probably over 750 hours of drawing. And that was for an 18-page book.
Wow.
So it's a process. It takes, I have to draw it with, I use it's an LCD Acrobat. It's a magnifier, so I have that on my desk permanent, and what it does is I can zoom in up to 50 times with it. So I can make the image come to me, but typically what I'm doing is I'm working in an inch of space, and I can blow it up to fill up the whole screen. So I'm able to put a lot of detail into my work, which is something that I love, and I have lots of really vibrant colors because that's what I see. So
that's an excellent choice for a CCTV, by the way.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Shameless plug for Aroga. That's one of the products we carry.
Hey, that's good. It's just totally opened up my passion for doing my drawings again. And maybe, I don't know how to say it, like just a better appreciation that I can still actually do the things that I loved. This is something that I wanted to do right out of college, was be an illustrator. I met Robert Munch years ago when he came to our children's school in Medicine Hat, and I had given him my portfolio at that time, and he took it home with him, and he sent me a letter, and he told me to get off my ass. It's always been such a passion of mine, and with work and with family, you maybe sometimes don't stop to do those things, the things that you love. And I can say that losing my sight has been a blessing, just because it's enabled me to be at home, that I can focus on doing the things that I really want to do.
With only, I think you said you have like 20% of vision in your one eye. What other tools do you use to actually can you distinguish between different shades of colors, such as reds or blues or?
Yes, absolutely. Yep. I'm great with color when it's right here. I've got about 6 inches is what I can see for distance, like fairly well. Most people don't like me getting in their face. So typically when I explain it to people, I say it's like looking through stained glass with my good eye. Because if I'm sitting in a crowd reading to the kids, it's just all a hodgepodge of color. But when everything is brought right to my face, I can see the colors and distinguish them.
Right.
And shapes. So yeah, can't see my feet, but I can see my drawing page.
Yeah, I can't see my feet either, but it's for a different reason.
It's that second breakfast every day.
That's right. Thanks, Tim Hortons.
Hey, Tim Hortons, good plug. So no, it's been a quite a wild process because I just finished I published my first book in February, and we've sold lots of those books. Lots of different bookstores have got them in their businesses, and they seem to be going well. The one thing that I think, and I don't want to say it because I'm not using disability as a benefit, but I think people are very intrigued when they hear that I am a legally blind illustrator.
Absolutely.
And the one thing that I get from a lot of the teachers and from parents is just that they're just so amazed that somebody hasn't, like, that I haven't given up. And when you love something as much as I do, like when it comes to drawing and being artsy, it's really an amazing ride, getting to go to the CNIB and getting to get the equipment that I have, because it totally opened up doors for me that I thought were closed. So, yeah.
So do you do any of your drawing on your computer, or is it all on tabletop?
It's all hand.
Yeah.
It's all hand drawing. Yeah. So that's kind of, I'd like that to sort of be a signature. I know a lot of fabulous, fantastic artists that do a lot of stuff online on the computer. But I guess maybe I'm just too old school. I love the way that the pencil crayon makes the image pop. So that's just the medium I choose to do.
Right.
So, yeah, I like the hands-on stuff.
And now, so children's books, now, was that something that you were always interested in doing, or was that something that recently you decided that you wanted to do?
No, you know what? It's always been children's books. When my kids were little, I always wanted to do it. And, you know, you have great intentions, but when you're raising your kids, there's not a whole lot of sit down and draw time. I think maybe it might have something to do with my mentality, but like I love being a kid at heart, and I love making images that pop and that are imaginative, and they're, I don't know, like they're just very, very different, and they're fun. And so for me, it was just kind of a no-brainer. Like that's just the group that I find are the most fun to engage with. They're not inhibited. They ask any kind of question that they want. And I love that, because we don't learn anything if you're not going to sit there and ask any questions. And I actually let the kids use the equipment when I read them. And it's kind of fun because there's been lots of kids that I think as an adult, like we've got to shape these little guys. And one little fella, he's got a degenerative disease in his eyes that could cause him to become blind before he's 8. And that was an amazing experience for me, because me telling my story, he told me, and he's in grade 2, I think, that it gives him hope. So it's pretty amazing when you can touch the little ones, because I learned far more from them than I could ever say anything to them. Do you know what I mean?
And now, what was, so we should pause and just say that the name of the book that you've written is called The Smooch. And what was the inspiration behind that particular story?
Well, the whole thing is over the past few years, past 6 years, I've really had to rely on my friends. And it was just a little way for me to subconsciously thank my friends for everything that they've done. In The Smooch, it's a little story about a frog who, he's got friends, but nobody that he really, I guess you could say, clicks with. And unbeknownst to him, his friends do far more for him than he realizes. And they see that he's down in the dumps, and they want to do something to help him out. And along comes this cute little fairy named Selena out of the woods, and she's the same color as Tad, who is the main character. He's a little frog. And he just, as soon as he sees her, he just kind of lights up. And then it becomes, what are my friends, like, how are the friends going to help him get up to see her? Because she's quite a out of proportion fairy. She's quite large. She's got huge feet, but she's got these beautiful green scales just like Tad. And for me, that's exactly what's happened to me. You know, you have those days where you feel down, and out of the blue, you have a friend that just pops in, or you get a phone call or you get a text. And if I didn't have that support system through this whole process of being sick, I don't know where I would be. So it was a little way for me to just let them know that I'm very grateful for my friends. Because in the end, Tad gets what he wants. He finds a friend, and the other friends have done everything that they can to help him get that. So it's just a cute little story, but with very, very vivid pictures. And I called it the Smooch because when my kids were little, that's something that I would always ask them to come and give mom instead of a kiss, it was come give mom a smooch. And my dad actually did that to me too. So it's, I guess paying homage to a little tradition that we've had in our house. Nice. So, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the process that you went through from conception to the actual day of the publishing. Okay,
well, I'm embarrassed to say it, but it was an idea that I've had for quite a while. Back in 2012, I went and I took a course at ACAD here, the Alberta School of Art and Design, in Calgary, and it was on how to publish a children's book. And Lori Lukasovich, she was the instructor at ACAD, and she walked us through the process. She's done, I can't remember, 14 books maybe, and showed us how she did her storyboards. And then when we were done doing our drawings, how to promote yourself, getting in contact with the right people. And so that was something that was instrumental for me. So I did start the process of this book in 2012, but then we don't like to say it here in High River, but the F word happened. We had a huge flood that affected the whole town, and everything kind of got put on hold. But for some strange reason, all of my drawings were left upstairs, which I am so thankful for because, I can't imagine losing all of that work. But in 2013, we had the flood here. We got back into our home and started renovating, and all of that stuff kind of got put on hold because there was too many just life things going on. Right. And then in December of 2013, I ended up getting H1N1, and my kidney function started to really, really go down. And then in June of 2014, I started dialysis. And in that time, I was kind of doing little bits and pieces, but I really honestly didn't even have the energy. Right. My husband built me a beautiful art studio in my basement after the flood, which, yes, I am thankful for. And the thought of walking down the stairs was kind of scary because I knew at some point I'd have to go back upstairs. That's how low I felt. Right. And so after I had my transplant, in November of last year, I just said, I have nothing to lose. I am just going to go for it. So I did a Kickstarter that started in November 11th. And it was just to help me get money so that I could get my book published. And by December 11th, we had raised over $15,000. And so I did get my Kickstarter money. And in December, I spoke to the printer. And so I self-published this book, right, just under my Day Designs. And in January, it got printed. We picked up the books. We got 2,500 books the end of January, and by February I had a team of friends that were sending stuff off for Kickstarter, and then it just started to, it kind of imploded, and there was just people ordering books off my website, which is KaronArgue.com, by the way, and that's KaronArgue.com. And it was just a very amazing experience because I just put my mind to it that this was going to get done, and it happened. And the day that I picked up the books I was with my mom, and I don't think I stopped like screaming until the end of Deerfoot, which is in Calgary. But just because it's so exciting to actually have had an idea and then finally have it in print and in your hand so that you can share it with the world.
I can imagine.
So yeah, it was really amazing. So December until like February of this year. So it took a long time, but you know what? I think it turned out really well for my first book. So I'm excited about it.
Well, and the first one is probably the biggest learning curve.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Which brings me to my next question. Do you have plans for another one?
Well, actually, if we had video on, you could see it. I'm working on, I've got 2 books in play right now. I was born in Scotland, and my mom and dad emigrated here when I was just a baby. And so I love anything to do with Scotland, castles, you name it. I'm into it. Love fairies, love making up little characters. So I've done a story about me going home to Scotland for the summer when I was 12 years old. And it's about all of these just crazy little creatures that I meet close to the castle where my grandma lived, and it's called Rate Castle. So it's a book that is for elementary age kids, but there's more of a storyline to it than the rhyming that I had in the Smooch.
Right.
So I'm hoping to get that one done fairly soon, and we're going to go with a BC publisher, actually, for this book. And then the one I'm working on today is for a little girl who has Down syndrome. And this little girl is just an amazing little creature, and I just love her. And she just turned 18. Her name is Sydney, and I think her and her mom are at the stage where they just want to tell the stories of how they've coped with everything over the years. So yeah, it's pretty fun when you have an idea, but it's also fun to bring somebody else's ideas to life too. So that's what I'm doing today.
I see. And so these days, does that pretty much keep you busy full time? Do you do any sort of other illustrations, art, or shows?
I do. Yeah, I love to paint. Painting is kind of me always stepping out of my comfort zone because I love pencil crayon. That's all I use is Prismacolor and ink. But I think it's good as an artist to try different things. And so I do try different things, and I had an art show once and people actually bought it. So it was worth the effort. So, but mostly it's taken up with just sitting at my desk drawing. So most of the kids, I asked the kids in Turner Valley, that one of the little guys asked me what I did for a living. And I said that I sat in my basement and I drew pictures and colored. And he said, "Oh, that's what I want to do." So, who wouldn't want that job, right?
Absolutely.
That does sound pretty good.
And I have a coffee bar downstairs, so there might be some Tim Hortons K-cups, but yeah. So
Very important part of it.
It is. It's the caffeine that keeps you going.
You mentioned your Acrobat LCD. Do you use any sort of other assistive technology just in day-to-day usage?
Day-to-day stuff, like really, I have magnifier that I take with me, and I do have a really strong lens in my right eye, so just with my glasses. But the other thing that I do use is after I was in Roots magazine, they had done an interview on me, and the lady that had Pat Freen was the person who came to do the interview. Right. And she saw what I was doing when I was painting and, just getting my face right into the canvas. And she said, "I think I have something that you could use." And she actually had got it at an auction, and it's an old dentist's magnifier. You know how they used to pull down the arm when you go to the dentist? Maybe you guys aren't old enough to remember those kind of things.
I am.
Yeah, I am too.
But I do. And that in itself is kind of neat because it brings the image to you and you don't have to go in so close. So that's been really, really helpful. And so really that's about it. I do have little aids in the house, like the knobs on my microwave and a few things like that. But typically I dress like an artist, so anything goes. Yeah.
And you mentioned the CNIB. Did the CNIB supply you with the Acrobat? Or?
That would have been through the STEP program?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And so there was kind of a fee that I paid, but then that's what wonderful donors of the CNIB are all about. They came and did an assessment and, basically asked me, what is it that you like to do? What do you want us to do? And I had gone a full year. So I went from 2010 to 2011 thinking that my vision was going to come back. So I didn't have any aids. And what kind of finally did it for me and why I got to the CNIB was I was walking downtown going to the bank from our office, and I would keep my hand out to the side so I knew where the buildings would end and that. And somebody walked past very disgusted that I was drinking this early in the morning. Mm-hmm. And I finally kind of realized at that point, okay, I can't abide by that because I wasn't. And it's just, I didn't like the perception that people had was that I was drunk at 10 o'clock in the morning when actually what it was is I couldn't even see her walking past.
Right.
So the CNIB got involved. They did all the assessments, knew that I loved to draw. And so that's how I ended up with my Acrobat. And it's been, I don't want to say a lifesaver, but it's just definitely changed my life. So I'm very thankful for the people at CNIB. So
excellent. Yeah, they do good work.
Yeah, no, they absolutely do. And it's kind of funny because there's a lot of people that I spoke to at an art gallery a little while ago to a group of artists that were all, okay, so I'm 44 years old, and there was a lot of people older than me, and they were just amazed that there was tools out there because, the more you age, vision is typically one of the things that starts to get worse. And some of the artists were just like, you know what, like, can anybody go there? And I'm like, well, if you have visual impairment, I don't see why they couldn't. So it's just kind of interesting because I think sometimes we don't like to admit when things are just not quite right. Mm-hmm. But to know that there's somebody out there that can help that, it's always good.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we find. I mean, a lot of the tools that are out there are things that generally people don't really think about until the day that they really need them.
Absolutely.
So we find that as well. I mean, we find that people are actually like genuinely surprised that these things actually exist at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, for sure. And it's the little things. The other day I went to the CNIB, I got a new cane. I'd kind of worn mine out, and I bought a watch, and I push the button and it tells me what time it is. So it's pretty exciting, the little things.
Yes.
Through your website, which is once again karonargue.com, KaronArgue.com. Do you sell anything besides your children's book on there?
I do. I have lots of just illustrations. I sell prints, and I have canvases on there that I've painted, and I sell those as well. Typically, those are just prints because I think I had an art show and we had about 350 people came to it, and we sold everything. So most of that stuff is just prints. And I haven't got everything that I've been working on up. I've got a girlfriend who's very good at doing the website, so she's coming this week to update everything for me. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff on there that you can look through, and I've tried to do as many different styles of drawing that I do, just so people can see that I can be quite versatile in the things that I do. I like doing realism, but then I like doing very abstract things. But typically it's the pencil crayon stuff that I sell the most.
Have you thought about doing tactile art?
Well, you know what? I actually have a friend who lives in Cranbrook, and she had seen my illustrations that I was working on when I was at a retreat, and she asked me if I would do some drawings for her, and actually she's just gotten her first pattern, a quilting pattern, with Tad the frog on there, just laying on some lily pads with bugs all around. So it's really, really cool because she's an artist. She is a fabric dyer, so she dyes all of her fabrics. So the background is really this funky water and it's greens and blues. So it's kind of interesting you say that, because it's weird when, you start something and it can go so many different directions. And so here I'm helping her with quilt designs, and I've never done that in my life.
Right.
But I mean, it's fun just because everybody, like, I'm just saying for my stuff, it's very bright and vibrant, and that was something that drew her to the drawings in the first place. And so she's managed to make a quilt that's really full of lots of fun stuff, and that will go up on the website right away too, because she is selling it out of Cranbrook.
And now, do you do a lot of traveling? I noticed that on the website it mentioned you do a lot of readings and things at different bookstores and schools. Are you still actively doing that?
I am. And something that I never thought that I would be doing. Yes, I do love to talk, but it's been quite a learning experience just sharing my experience with kids. And like I said, I always thought that they'd be the tough crowd, but they're the crowd that they're not afraid to ask the weird questions, which I love. And they've been very, very receptive to it, because it's something that, is very different. And you walk in with a cane and they're like, yeah, what is this lady doing? And then you show them what you've been working on. And I think it kind of just shows the kids that, anything is possible, even with a disability.
And, just for those kids to have that experience and gain an early understanding that, visually impaired doesn't always mean blind. That's a good thing for them to learn, because a lot of people still operate under the assumption that, a lack of understanding of what low vision is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So no, it's been really fun. And it's typically when I start talking to the kids, I'm like, is there anybody in the room that's wearing glasses? Because of course I can't see them. And there's usually a show of hands. And I always tell those kids, you guys are superstars. You got superpowers. And you know what? When you engage the kids and you can talk to them directly, because those are the kids that, maybe they just wear glasses for the rest of their lives. That's great. But there's also been kids in the room that I met a little guy who wears an insulin pump, and he has got very, very poor vision. And he was just completely, basically at my feet the whole time. And I think it was just because he gets where I'm at. Right. And it's very, very important that we all kind of share our stories, because it's always going to speak to someone. This little guy, he just said to me, he goes, I love to draw too, and I hope I get to draw for a long time. And that's why I say the things that I've taken away from some of the readings that I've done, are far more valuable to me, I think, than anything that I could have said to those kids. But it's just about persevering and not giving up on your dreams. And I know that sounds very cliche, but I think sometimes we forget that. And even for kids, they, if they can't do something, they get down or whatever. But you know what? Just try it, and you never know where it's going to go. And that's my experience. So.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Karon, for being with us.
Excellent.
And we wish you the
have
best of luck with the new books.
Yeah. Also, the best of luck with the new pancreas.
Yes.
And thank you so much, guys. Yeah, really looking forward to it. And thanks for having me on.
You bet.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
So, Ryan.
Rob.
Where can people find us?
People can find us online at www.atbanter.com.
And they can also reach us by email at atbanterpodcast@gmail.com.
Good job.
Nicely done.
First take, folks. First take.
Yeah, awesome. And let's see, we've also got we've got ourselves the Facebooks, we've got ourselves the Twitters. Where's Google Plussing?
I went to the P&E over the summer, and I ate a bunch of cotton candy, and oh my God, did I get the Twitters. For 2 days. It was terrible.
Would that be tweets, plural?
Oh, yeah.
Twicker tweet.
Twicker tweet.
Yeah, they can find us on Google+, YouTube, the Facebook, Tweety. And
no Pinterest yet.
No,
we
or
don't have
Instagram.
Pinterest. I don't even understand Pinterest.
Yeah, me either.
So forget it.
Yeah.
And you can also visit us and Aroga Technologies at www.aroga.com. AROGA.com.
Check out the clearance section.
Oh, yeah. Good clearance section.
Yep.
Lots of stuff in clearance right now.
Yep. A lot of good pricing.
Yep. And we offer financing as well on anything over $500.
You are correct, sir.
I am correct. I know.
Well, that's going to do it for us this week. Oh, wait a minute. Ryan, what are we doing next week?
Next week, we do have a very special guest. They're all special, but this one's very special.
Ooh.
Yes. We have internet sensation Oscar and Klaus joining us.
I'm so excited about this.
I know you are. This was your call.
I know. This is totally my idea.
Yep.
Oscar is a blind cat.
Who's been on the Today Show, the Ellen DeGeneres Show, and many others.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we're going to talk to Oscar and Klaus's owner, Mick, I believe.
Oh, that's good, because I was going to say it's going to be really hard to interview a cat.
Not really.
Do you use any assistive technology, Oscar?
Okay,
Thanks, Oscar. That was illuminating.
I'll bring one of Jenny's little jingle balls.
That's right.
Look, Oscar, laser.
That's right.
We can't see. It's very insensitive.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, that's right. I missed that.
Good point. Yeah.
Bang.
Yeah. AT fail right there.
All right, everybody. That's going to do it for us. We will see you guys next week.
Ciao.
Back on Dios.
This podcast has been brought to you by Aroga Technologies. Visit Aroga Technologies online at www.aroga.com. That's AROGA.com. Music provided by bensound.com.